Just a quick intro to study unit 5. The accounting cycle is just literally what it is. How does the accounting work? We start by filling in a transaction onto the source documents, your checks, receipts, etc. We put them into journals. A journal is like a diary with a date. What did you do? Who with? That sounds terrible, but in accounting, I sold goods to this guy, the owner contributed that, I bought this, I paid this. It says everything you've done. You'll have a journal for when you receive money, a separate journal when I pay money, etc., etc. Those journals will then be posted to ledgers. I'm going to introduce you to the ledgers today. Those are your T accounts. Those ledgers then, for example, will summarize your bank. So your journal, you'll have a cash receipt when I receive money, cash receipts journal. You'll have a cash payments journal for when I pay money. And there'll be a column for bank in both of those journals. Does that make sense? And then you'll post it to a bank account saying, this came in, that went out, how much is left? So a ledger summarizes each account, what went up or down, and what is the balance on that account. Those balances are then recorded on something called a trial balance, which is a list of those accounts with their balances, and it's a trial, it's a test to see if you did the double entry system. This I will go through again next time in a bit more detail, but then you basically start this over. You do this every month, so you'll do it for 12 months. Journals, ledger, trial balance. Journals, ledger, trial balance. And at the end of the year, you'll prepare your financial statements, which I touched on in study units 2 and 4. You'll do your statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and that's why I've abbreviated P&L. That is basically study unit 3, where we spoke about profits, income and expenses. You're also going to do the statement of financial position, FP, which we basically spoke to in study unit 2, your assets and your liabilities. And the changes in equity is just the middle one. It's very simple and easy. Statement of changes in equity is abbreviated SCE. And that statement of changes in equity is basically, let me just get the right color, this thing. That equation just set out nicely in a statement format. All of those things I will do later with you. For now, you're not going to cry or worry about it. In study unit 15, where we do financial statements, we'll deal with that. So for now, this is just an overview. So when you come back to it, you'll go, I know exactly what those things are. For now, they're new words. Let's go and look at these debits and credits. Because if you're frightened of them, I might never see you again. Every account is on a clean page in practice, if you were doing a physical manual thing in a big ledger book. And let's pretend that this block is my page. Those accounts will have their name in the middle at the top, like bank, debtors, sales, all those accounts we've been speaking of. You will be very neat and tidy, and you will underline each account. Let me just get another color. Yes, that's hard, eh? Here's the harder part. You've got to split that account down the middle, the page. Yo. And you're going to call the left side the debit side. Heaven alone knows why they abbreviate with a DR. Why? Because there's no R in debit. But we'll just say, okay. And you're going to call the right-hand side the credit side. Yo. Terribly difficult, hey? It is not accounting. What does debit mean? Anyone who's done accounting at all? What does debit mean? The account that's receiving. The account that's increasing. No. I love the word. This is the only time I say outright no. It's a debit order. That's a payment, isn't it? So is that money going in or money going out now? You don't know. Okay? Debit is a Latin word. Like you get English and Afrikaans and Zulu and Sotho and Xhosa and all of those nice things. It means the left side. And credit means right in Latin. Okay? So you guys are sitting on the debit side of the class. You guys are sitting on the credit side of the class. It actually has got nothing to do with accounting. You got it? So is it still as scary as you thought? I hope not. The rest of that page I will get to right at the end of today. Let's go and talk about that double entry system. So I'm going to teach you 2 acronyms. Dead and CLIC. No, but I first need to show you how to use them before you know what on earth they are. So you'll see on the 3rd page, I think it should be on your, and on the back of that page, Are they left and right? Yes. On your left page, you've got a dead at the top. And on the right-hand page, you've got a CLIC at the top. Am I right? Is it left and right? It helps. If you can have them both open, it will help you. So just please look carefully which page I'm on. Let me illustrate by making up little examples how this double entry system works. We know how the accounting equation. Let's just continue from there. Let's say the owner contributes money. What are the two accounts? Capital, because the owner contributes. And what did he give? Bank money, so it's bank. So on the dead page, let's open a bank T account. Sorry, if I can go back here. If we take this block away, not that block, this block. Can you see why they call it T accounts? Oh, terribly difficult, eh? It looks like a T. There's no other good reason. So, bank. You obviously won't use a clean page every time, so I know how many lines you need. The other account was capital. So on the CLIC page, go and write capital. All right. Everyone following so far? Two accounts are affected with that transaction. You need two T's. Got it. Let's go to bank. And let's say I'm going to say I want to put, let's say it's 100,000 Rand. I'm going to put it on the left. And I'm going to write a word here, Nana, so just leave a space there. So can you see that I'm debiting bank? Because I'm putting the 100,000 on the left-hand side of the bank account. For every debit, I need a credit. So in the other account, that 100,000 must be on the credit side. Leave a space there for a word, please. Yes, it's hard, eh? Okay, granted, if you don't know which one's which, it's a bit harder, but I'm getting to that. It's like the punchline. I usually spoil jokes and tell the punchline before the joke. So I'm being very good today. Next to bank. Within bank, I must be able to see what is the double entry. If I'm debiting bank, what is the other account? Capital. So can you see I'm showing you the double entry? If I'm debiting bank, the contra account, the opposite account, the other account is capital. So in capital, I'm going to write, yes, that's hard, hey, bank. If you want to number the transactions just to see which one's which, I am going to color code too. So for the first one, I debited bank and I credited capital, and I cross-reference is what I call it. Easy enough. Let's go and borrow money from the bank. So do you agree it's a loan and I'm borrowing monies? So where's that money going to go? Into my bank. Bank and loan. So I've got a bank account. I need a loan account. Let's go to the CLIC page. Let's open a loan account. Okay, go back to bank. When the owner gave money, my bank went up and I put it on the left. So when I'm borrowing money, my bank's also going up, so I'm going to also put it on the left. Okay, it's like an in and an out door. You can't suddenly change it. So let's say I'm borrowing 50,000 Rand. My bank will be debited with number 2. For every debit, I need a credit. So in the loan account, I will credit my loan for number 2 with 50,000. In loan, I'll write bank, and in bank, I'll write loan. Yo, it's hard, eh? What if I pay some of that loan back? It'll be bank and loan again, do you agree? And I'll credit the bank, let's say 1,000 Rand. And I'll write loan. And for every credit, I need a debit. It's not magic. In loan, I write bank. Now, in your loan account, you can see that my loan went up on the credit and down on the debit. Can you see that? It's not magic, eh? It's accounting. But so far, it's working. Good thing I chose bank first, because then everything else kind of leads from it, doesn't it? All right, let's go and buy some equipment. Let me just choose another color. Let's buy some equipment for cash. Bank and equipment, do you agree? So let's open an equipment account. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so bank and equipment. Money, do your bank first. Let's buy for 5,000 Rand. Do you agree that money's going out? So credit the bank. Do you agree with me? When the owner gave money, it came in, debit. Now I'm paying for something. Whether I paid the loan back or whether I pay for equipment, the money's going out, credit. For every credit, I need a debit. In equipment, I will write bank. And in bank, I will write equipment. You got the idea? All right, I'm going to go a little quicker. Let's go and buy some stationery on, no, for cash. Let's go and buy equipment on credit. It's equipment and creditors. I've got an equipment account. Go to the CLIC page. Let's go and open creditors. Okay. In my equipment account, when I buy equipment, I put it on the debit side. So when I buy more equipment, let's keep it on the debit. Let's make it 12,000. What was the other account? Creditors. For every debit, I need a credit. So in creditors, credit the creditor. Doesn't that sound nice? What number am I on? 5. And in creditors, I'll write equipment. So what happens if I buy stationery on credit? That means I need a stationery account. On the dead page, let's have stationery. And I'm buying it on credit. So I need a creditors account. On the CLIC page, I've already got it. So let's go with creditors because we've already got something there. When I bought equipment on credit, I credited the creditor because I owe him more. So if I'm buying something else on credit, I'm still going to credit the creditor because I still owe them more. Does that make sense? Make it 3,000 Rand. And in creditors, I'll say stationery. Can you see in my creditors account? I can see. I bought equipment on credit. I bought stationery on credit. So for every credit, I need a debit. So in stationery, I will debit the stationery. And in stationery, I'll write creditors. You got the idea? Let's have the owner take some money for his own use. Let's stay with pink somewhere. Bank and drawings. So on the dead page, right at the bottom, let's have drawings. Money in or out? Which side's that? Credit side for money out. Let's let him take, I don't know, make up a number, 4,000 Rand. And you write drawings. For every credit, you need a debit. So if you've credited your bank, you debit your drawings. Following? Okay. And let's go and earn our first little bit of money. Let's say we're a hairdresser and we want to cut somebody's hair for cash. Do you agree that it's bank and service income? I've got a bank account. On the CLIC page, I need a service income or a services rendered, whatever you want to call it. Let's go with bank first because we know him. Which side? Debit side, good. Number 8. Let's make it 8,000 Rand for the week or for the month, I don't know. And we say services rendered. Got the idea? For every debit, we need a credit. 8,000 Rand. Is that number 8? Yes, it is. And in service income, we say bank. Have you got an idea of the double entry system, how it works? Not just 2 accounts. One is a debit, one's a credit. So let's go to my dead page and let's just quickly look at that. My bank, we said, is an asset. Do you agree? Money came in on the left. My asset, my bank account got bigger on the left when I received money. And when I paid money, it got smaller. And I put it on the right. My equipment is also an asset. More equipment. My equipment account got bigger on the left and smaller on the right. Do you agree? My stationery is an expense. More stationery I put on the left and less stationery I put on the right. Does that make sense? Okay. And drawings, that's just plain owner's equity. Let's just leave that out. Drawings, the more drawings I have, I put it on the left, and when there's less drawings, I'll put it on the right. So in other words, what's the opposite of drawings? Capital. So let's go look at my capital account. Is that on the opposite side to drawings? Yes, it is. Does that make sense? And drawings is the opposite of capital, and that's why it's on the opposite side. All right. Loan is a liability. The more I borrow, I put that on the credit side, and when I paid my loan back, it's a debit. Creditors, same thing. I owe more or I owe less. You got the idea? Service income, more income, that side, and if I had to cancel it, it'll be that side, which is the same as an expense, which was on the left. You got the idea? So can you see that debit doesn't mean plus or minus? It depends. Debit is the left, credit is the right, full stop. So how are you going to learn which accounts get bigger on the debit side and which accounts are those that are getting bigger on the credit? And those are the two acronyms I was telling you about. So go back a page, they will be left out. The two acronyms are DEAD and CLIC. Those two pages that we had. DEAD stands for debit, any expense account, your asset account, and your drawings account, if you want them to get bigger. Which accounts get bigger on the left? Expenses, assets, and drawings. Let's go and check it. Sorry, just are you finished writing that down? Which accounts got bigger on the left? Bank, equipment, assets, stationery, expense, drawings. Debit expenses, assets, and drawings when the expense is going up. When the asset is going up. You got the idea? When the drawings are getting bigger. Nothing to do with owner's equity. Do you see that? And the other acronym, if D stood for debit, what does C stand for? If A was for assets, what is liabilities? I, income, and the opposite of drawings is capital. Well done. So which accounts get bigger on the right-hand side? Liability accounts, income accounts, capital accounts. Let's go and check on my CLIC page. All my liabilities got bigger on the credit and smaller on the debit. And my income, bigger on the credit, smaller on the debit. And my capital, bigger on the credit, smaller on the debit. I hope I didn't say it wrong, Nana, but yeah. Got the idea? Dead and CLIC. But if you don't know your lists, will this help you? Not at all. Okay, so there at the bottom here, all your debt accounts get bigger on the debit, the left-hand side, and smaller on the credit, the right-hand side. All for your CLIC accounts, all of those accounts will get bigger on the right-hand side and smaller on the left-hand side. Got it? That must be in your head by next week, and next time I'll continue with this.